Well, with the opening of the airport, Beijing joins a group of cities, including New York and London, that have two long-haul international airports. Helping provide more insight is Seth Kaplan. He's a transportation analyst. Seth, welcome to the program. I'm dying to go and fly into this airport. It sounds absolutely incredible. Why do you think it was so necessary for China to have a second large airport?
Well, Beijing capital is just bursting at the seams. Really no other airport in the world you can think of that just can't meet the demand that's there. You think of a city like Shanghai, two major airports in addition to those you mentioned, New York and London. Beijing has basically had one. We heard Xiaoyang mention Nanyuan, the old airport, with a small level of flights. But basically, it's just been one airport for this very busy global capital, finally now getting some relief with the second airport.
Is there anything in the United States that can be compared to this, even Europe?
No, because the only airport in the world that's busier than Beijing, Atlanta, just isn't over capacity in the same way. You know, at Atlanta, you can add flights if there's more demand. Most airports around the world, there are other airports. London would be a classic example, London Heathrow, where, you just can't put anything more.
What I was talking about, Seth, wasn't in terms of crowd or the number of passengers, but in terms of high-tech technology. I mean, you saw in that piece, there is, I mean, going through security is a simple process. Look at the camera and smile and you're through.
No, this is in high-tech and low-tech ways really a new standard. And that's what's interesting here. You know, we heard it in that report also from Xiaoyang before about that starfish design, as they're calling it, the short walk to the gates. So here they've kind of done it both ways. I mean, so sure, you have the fancy facial recognition technology, which should make life easier in important ways, important high-tech ways. But on the other hand, they've looked at some very, what you might think are mundane things, some very simple things. You know, how can we make it that people don't have to walk as far? Because that's really what people want. And if you look around the world at some of the busiest airports, there's a big disparity in terms of ones where, it's rather busy, but it's not too inconvenient. Atlanta actually is one, busiest airport in the world, not too hard to get around to considering how much traffic there is, but then other very busy airports that are very difficult to navigate. And the idea here, at least, and it looks so far like this will be the case, is that this will be in that category of airports that, really busy eventually, not yet, but not too difficult to navigate.
Talk to us about how China could really overtake the U.S. as the world's largest aviation market, Seth.
Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, it's certainly on a pace, and it looked at one point a few years ago like Beijing capital might overtake Atlanta, and probably the major reason why, in terms of a busier airport, one airport, it hasn't, because there's just no more capacity, right? Atlanta was able to continue growing, capital just couldn't. But no, Beijing, or China rather, is on that path. If you looked at the trajectory, the U.S. airline market is still growing, a healthy economy for now, but China's market has been growing much more quickly.
And I think the U.S. market has a few things to learn from the Chinese airport system. It seems a lot more efficient, certainly there. Thank you so much, Seth Kaplan. We appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.